This is Noel Tate from Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Welcome back, Looney listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 311, and you are with your High Priests of Khonshu, Rebecca and Ray. Welcoming back, Rebecca. Had a holiday. Rebecca, how are you going?
Extended holidays. Yeah. I'm good. It's nice to be back. Well, it's winter here.
Oh.
Not that nice to be back, and I'm working. But aside from that, it's nice to be home.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's true. I was about to say, like, holidays, there's nothing better than having a break.
I was travelling quite a while, so, well, it's because I stupidly booked two together, so, you know.
That's okay. That's okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Any bumpy or, crazy stories?
So, well, I went to Rome with my sisters for a week. Or just under a week, and I had just recovered from COVID, and they'd both had the boosters, and I couldn't get the booster because I just had COVID. So, but that was fun and nice, and I'd not been before, and they had, and we were staying opposite a cat sanctuary, which was obviously the best thing about the trip. Where Caesar was killed is now a cat sanctuary, so a historical cat sanctuary. And that was very cool. But I don't think anything really funny happened there. But then, so I came home. I had 2 days between trips. And that involved ridiculous 12-hour stays at airports.
Yeah.
And I got sick.
Oh.
So between the two trips, I caught a cold. And so the night before I left for Cambodia, I was curled up in a blanket on our sofa, asleep because I couldn't face dinner, and then had to get up to get a cab to the station. So I had to sort of fly to Singapore. I had like 12 hours and then fly to Singapore, then to Cambodia, while feeling very self-aware of the fact that I was coughing.
No. Yes.
And so I had
looks?
to no, actually,
Okay.
none at all. Like, nobody's drugged. Everyone on the plane had to have their vaccination certificates. I wore a mask throughout because like, you didn't have to, but I didn't want anyone to feel like they were in danger because of me. But it is really rotten traveling when you don't feel well and you've got a long flight. But then my friend was waiting for me, and it was all very nice. And I love Cambodia, and I was visiting my best friend, so we didn't do very much, but it was nice.
You just spent time together, which is good.
Yeah.
Did you have to? I mean, like, differing climates as well. Sorry,
yeah,
getting to did you have to pack twice? Like, did you have to?
I had the case for Cambodia packed, so that I didn't have to pack in between.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I mean, like, Rome was 25, 26 degrees. Cambodia was 30. So, yeah, it's different. And one's very European heat, and one's very dry, sort of tropic more. It was actually pretty dry heat in Cambodia.
That's nice.
And it was really nice.
Yeah.
And got to spend time with her dog as well. And it was always nice to, I don't get a chance to hang out with dogs much. And yeah, it was nice. We didn't do a lot. It was I did read, which is something I've not done for a while.
Awesome. Local cuisine, that sort of stuff. See the sights.
Yeah. See the sights, the local site. A lot of it hasn't opened up again since COVID. So there were some sightseeing things I thought we were going to do that we didn't do. And then we were going to get a train, but then the trains were really late all the time. So we were like, no, let's just get a cab. And then, it was nice. I don't know when and if I'll go back. So maybe another couple of years I'll go back again.
That's okay.
I went in 2019, but
okay.
She hasn't had anyone able to visit her because of all the lockdowns, and she couldn't leave Cambodia because of the lockdown.
Right.
So this was very much make sure she has, someone comes visit her, and then it was nice. How's you had a lot of Moon Knight issues while I was gone?
Oh
not
yeah,
issues
yeah.
with, not
No.
actual issues with.
Well, a
I'm
bit of
not.
A and
I'm
B
not.
there,
I'm
Rebecca.
not fully
Yeah.
caught up.
Oh no, yeah, I'd imagine you'd have a pile. No, you had some fantastic issues. It was. I remember we were lamenting just before you left about the things that you would be missing. Unfortunately, just due to
Yeah.
timing.
I was really looking
Um,
forward to it, and there's so many of
I
them.
think there were a couple of Moon Knight issues. There was the annual as well, which was
Yeah, there was the annual and
pretty
2
big.
Moon Knight issues, and then obviously Crypt of Shadows, which we're going to talk about today. Um,
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, so loonies, yeah, that's it. I mean, they're looking at the phases of the moon, and I must apologise as well. Things have been quite hectic as of late as well. So yeah, it's just been struggling to get something out on time. Hence, a lot of because Rebecca, I found like solo recordings were very easy to do. Without having to coordinate
yeah.
time zones. So, hopefully they were good for everyone as well. But yeah, just busy at work, busy at home. Eve's parents had just left, so yeah, that was sad. But it was a fun time when they were here for the last couple of months. So exactly as Rebecca said, we're going to do like a new comic book. That's the
Yeah.
only way I can
I
bypass
mean, Ray,
Khonshu's laws.
Ray offered me the choice of doing older ones.
Hmm.
But then when we realized we'd not like Ray hadn't covered this one yet, it seemed like an easy way of jumping in without having to feel a bit overwhelmed about it all again.
Yeah, and I remember.
Which I think, like, if we'd been doing, I really do need. I haven't read the Moon Knight issues or the annual, so like when we get to the Werewolf by Night story, I appreciate there was Werewolf by Night in the annual. I
Yeah.
haven't read it,
Okay.
because the most I did was open all my comics and throw them into piles, and then I had to go searching for this one because when Ray said
Yes.
let's do it, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's somewhere in the house.
It's
I don't
somewhere.
know where.
Yeah.
So, but I did find it. You'll be happy to hear.
Excellent. Well, I mean, it's good as well because I think if you haven't read the annual, this takes place. I think it slots in just before the annual. I'd say so.
Yeah,
it kind of works.
well, it advertises the annual at the end, so
Yeah.
I figured that's
Yeah, so it's very, very tangentially, but it is there, so that's good. Yeah, so I thought we'd give this a go. Rebecca and I, we had bundled like Moon Knight cameos and appearances before, but again, like I was looking at Crypt of Shadows, and it was, I mean, there's one Moon Knight story, but there haven't really been, I don't think, many other cameos from Moon Knight, so I thought well, we might as well just do this as well.
yeah.
So, by way of, before we do any white noise, I'm not sure if there's anything there, Rebecca, on your end. I haven't really picked up anything Moon Knighty.
The only thing that I have for you is if you go and look up the Disinsider Awards for 2022.
Oh yes,
So
I saw
that's
that. Yeah.
Dis as in Disney shortened. Then there's a couple of Moon Knight things you can vote for. You can vote for May.
Yes.
You can vote for Oscar, and you can vote for Moon Knight. I mean, look, they're up against tough competition. I'm not gonna lie. I had to sit and think about it. It's because it's all TV shows that have been on Disney Plus. I mean, they're up against the Andor, and like there's a lot of other good stuff that's been on there in terms of like acting and writing. But they definitely got my votes. So
I haven't
like some of my votes. I think Oscar got my vote, and I was like really torn because it was like Oscar Diego, and I was like no, like having to play all the alters and whatever. I just swing it for Oscar. Plus we love him. And then so that's literally the only sort of Moon Knight stuff I've heard, seen since I've been away or come back.
Sorry, you're very diligent there, Rebecca. Yeah, I did see it. It's on our Discord channel. Rebecca had posted it up. You can go check it out. Go vote as well. I can just imagine you, Rebecca, going, "Oh yeah, Moon Knight definitely." But then you see the other nominations, you probably
really
go, "Oh,
hard." I mean, like because like. Look, I love Moon Knight, but I accept it was slightly divisive, should I say? So yeah, it's kind of hard. I'm just trying to I'm just looking up quickly to see who who it was up against. I know Oscar was definitely up against Diego.
I haven't watched Andor. I know from the sounds of it you liked it, Rebecca.
I did like it, but I think
Yeah.
I mean like either way, it is really good writing and really
Okay.
good acting, and it's
Nice.
throughout, and it's just like I mean, yeah, I thought I enjoyed Moon Knight enough for that. So I mean, I think just trying to think like what I would have voted for. I can't get through to it. It needs me to verify too many things.
Yeah,
Because
I've seen it
voted.
I've seen in discussions it's been coupled with, The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan, so that's encouraging. Like I like
think it's
both of
I
them.
think it's better than those.
Oh wow, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just it's a more cohesive story. More than anything else.
Right. And it's again, apologies, Rebecca. I'm a casual Star Wars fan. This is all to do. Is this the Death Star and Rogue One?
Yes. So have you seen Rogue One?
Yep.
So this is about how Cassian Andor becomes a rebel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, nice. Oh, lovely. Well, I will check it out. And Loonies definitely drop in a vote. Let's get the Mooney train rolling. Speaking of Loonies and Patroonies, I did forget to thank all our sponsors, all the Patroonies. Thank you once again. Actually, a bit of an announcement as well. I thought, Rebecca, it's only fair because, come the end of the year, December, things might slow down. I mean, they've kind of slowed down a little just because of work, but I thought I'd freeze just the month of December for all Patroonies. A huge thank you, of course, to every one of you for contributing and being part of the show. But yeah, I just thought let's take December, not to say that we're not going to do any shows, but I wouldn't feel right, Rebecca, if we did only like one or two shows that month, and Patroonies are forking out their hard-earned cash.
A nice Christmas present for people as well.
So so a huge thank you to the Patroonies and our top tier sponsors: Odin Odinsaw, Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, Frank the Think Tank, CLZ Comics, and Dreamland Comics as well from Illinois, still chugging along there. Other than that, Rebecca, I think, are you ready? Shall we jump into our Moonshine? Here we go.
Yes.
Yes, our Moonshine, a new comic book review. This is newish. I mean, come on, it's only a couple of months.
It's pretty new.
It's pretty new, yeah, exactly. As mentioned, we're doing Crypt of Shadows Volume 3, Issue 1, release date October 19th, 2022. Has got a cover date December of this year as well. Rebecca, I'm not sure if you've got the prom sheet up with you, but shall we chop and change?
It's pretty empty, but we can. Oh, you mean with the creative teams? Yeah.
Just the creative teams. Yeah. So opening up, we've got Crypt of Shadows, the first one, writer Al Ewing, penciler Ramon Bachs, inker Ramon Bachs as well, colorist Rain Beredo, letterer Travis Lanham, with editors Lauren Amaro and Jordan D. White.
Yes. Then Neither Big Nor Bad, written by Danny Law, penciled by Karen S. Darboe, who also inked it, colorist Cris Peter, letterer Travis Lanham, editor Martin Biro, and Annalise Bissa.
And then we get Werewolf by Night with a K. Oh, actually, I think it's Werewolf by Moon Knight. I think I made that mistake there. Writer Danny Law, penciler Karen S. Darboe, and she does the inks as well. Colorist Cris Peter, letterers Travis Lanham, and editor Martin Biro, Annalise Bissa, editors.
Then Skin Crawl, written by Chris Cooper, penciled and inked by Ibrahim Mustafa, colorist Niraj Menon, letterer Travis Lanham, editor Anita Okoye. I assume that's how it's pronounced. Sarah Bunstead. Apologies for pronunciations, as always.
I just saw Okoye there, Rebecca.
I know, that's why I
Dora
pronounced
Milaje.
it that way. Yeah, that's why I pronounced it that way. I have no idea if that's...
The second last story, we have Down Came the Rain with the writer Chris Condon, penciler inks Fran Galan, colorist James Campbell, letterer Travis Lanham, and editor Lauren Amaro.
And then, finally, I think, Endless Slaughter in the Infinite Swamp by Chris Condon, penciled and inked by Fran Galan, almost certainly pronounced wrong, colorist James Campbell, letterer Travis Lanham, editor Lauren Amaro.
I may have gotten that wrong, Rebecca. That may have been a copy and paste. I see they're very similar to
they are.
But that's okay. We'll figure it out. We've got the comment.
No, I've got it in front of me. Wait a second.
Dear.
Okay, yeah. Endless Slaughter in the Infinite Swamp is Adam Warren, written and artist. Guru EFX colorist, Travis Lanham letterer, Lauren Amaro associate editor, and Jordan D. White editor.
Thank you, Rebecca. Always coming to the rescue and raise a sloppy prompt.
Wait a second, no, you've got another one wrong.
Oh yes, oh, no.
Werewolf by Moon Knight. Yes, Werewolf by Moon Knight. Written by Rebecca Roanhorse, artist Geoff Shaw, color artist Arif Prianto, letterer Travis Lanham, assistant editor Drew Baumgartner, and editor Mark Basso. I think we're right now. A lot of copy and paste there.
There was a lot of copy and paste. Sorry there, Lynn. I was doing Werewolf by Midnight. I was going, these names sound very familiar, and they were exactly the ones that you said just before. So with all that aside, before we get into it, Rebecca, I thought, obviously, since it's the Moon Knight podcast, shall we just kick off with Werewolf by Moon Knight first, and then we can go to the others? Yeah. And Looney's point of difference from our other reviews, there's not going to be a synopsis because it's an anthology. There are many stories. We're just going to
not a lot happens.
Yeah, well, pretty much. But yeah, we'll kick off with the Moon Knight one, and then we'll go from there, or whichever one we like. To start with, Rebecca, I'm going to shoot up here. These are for the patronies who have the video access. We do have variant covers. So the regular cover by Lionel Francis Yu and Sunny Go looks pretty cool there. Is that the one that you picked up, Rebecca? Have you got another one?
I think, yeah, it is that one.
Okay, yeah, I like that one as well. It's got Elsa Bloodstone, Moon Knight, X-23 Wolverine, and Bloodline, I think is the name, Rebecca?
Yeah. Bloodline's
daughter
her superhero name, so to speak.
Yep. Daughter of Blade. Now, we also have a variant cover by Ryan Brown. I only saw this when I did the homework, Rebecca. This looks pretty cool. Very
cool. Yeah.
Funny story. Will the Infinite, what was it called? Infinite Fight. Endless Slaughter in the Infinite Swamp. I love the title, and it's a funny story. It's a pretty cool cover.
Story, yeah.
Yeah. Another variant cover by Logan Lubera. Again, it has the main players, Elsa, Moon Knight, and Laura there.
It's really hard for me to say that Moon Knight is one of the main players in this.
Yeah.
Compared to the other stories.
Moon Knight for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
He's definitely one of the big sellers at the moment in terms of shoving someone on your cover.
Yeah. You would
it's
argue
not about him, but I would argue that this story is more about Jake than it is
Jake. Yeah, absolutely. I was about to say,
and not Jake Lockley. Just
the other werewolf by night.
The other Jake.
And there was another one as well. No, there's another one here as well by Ryan Stegman, the Morbius variant, which looks pretty ghoulish. I think
it's so funny. Is that actually using the font from the film?
Oh yeah,
that featuring Morbius, the living vampire.
Yeah,
would not put that on a
but that looks, looks pretty cool. I guess, Rebecca, we have to get ourselves in that mindset of the Halloween. So this kind of came out.
It's a good selection of characters for Halloween. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we have that. Now let's get into Werewolf by Moon Knight then. So I'm just gonna have to flick through here. So again, we do have it up on screen here for Patreon members. Check out the video. Please become a Patreon member if you think you'd like to. Just trying to get yes. So Rebecca, in a nutshell, I think this story is basically, as you say, very little happens. Molly and Jake, they are invited to this kind of house where there's meant to be a party. It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. They're going for the free food.
They're going for the free food. There's only a butler there, and I'm assuming that is Jack Russell behind the computer screen.
I guess. I mean, he seems really sinister, but yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's up for debate, but it looks like it should be.
Yes. Did you... Oh, no, you haven't yet, because that is in the annual. Yeah, so you'll see, I mean... No spoilers, Rebecca. Jack Russell's in there, and he's kind of different.
I assumed he would be, yeah.
So what happens is there's an upset butler who wants to be the second in charge, and he sees Jake muscling in, unbeknownst to Jake, muscling in on Jack's plan to kind of form a werewolf team or army or something. The two werewolves fight, and lo and behold, Rebecca, you get a glimpse of a crescent moon in the background.
If he comes, Moon Knight gets
crashes
told he was looking for two people protecting, and gets a little bit confused at the two werewolves.
But happy to punch them.
And takes Molly's word for it that that he's after the right werewolf or the wrong werewolf. He tells them to get out. They run off, and
there's Jack in the at the window, just ruining the day and saying, "Well, okay, Moon Knight, you've made an enemy."
And Moon Knight's tying the butler to the fence with a little sign saying "dirtbag."
Yep,
which is quite funny.
Dirtbag. So what did you make of this little ditty with Moon Knight? Very incidental, Moon Knight. But
I mean, look, I like that Moon Knight's the one that would come out and rescue Jake, because of like his whole history with Werewolf by Night and stuff like that. It's kind of nice because it could be anyone. But this feels very much like a tease of a story to come that probably won't involve Moon Knight.
Yeah. I like it's Moon Knight with werewolves. It's like a different kind of shade of Moon Knight, with the supernatural. For those that have read the annual as well, we know that that's very much the flavor. But it's nice. I don't know, nice to see Moon Knight so reassured of himself, and it's kind of reminded me of the TV series where he, has no qualms about going up against something beastly.
And although I said it seems like a hint of things to come for Werewolf by Night, I like the establishing of Moon Knight as someone who protect travelers of the night, who look after people. He gives his little, I was called in to do this particular thing. So if you did then go from this to reading the main Moon Knight title, you'd have an idea of what his status quo is at least. So it kind of works as a hook for that as well.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's if you look at the many iterations of Moon Knight, it's far from, say, the Mark Spector Moon Knight mercenary or him teaming, with... I was half imagining a mooncopter and him on the rope ladder with Frenchie. I don't even think it's that. It's pretty much Moon Knight and Khonshu, I guess, because as you said, he makes mention of protecting two travelers. So it's very much connected to... the Egyptian god of the moon. But yeah, it's a nice little flavour. I thought the art was fantastic. There was one change there where the butler turns into a werewolf. I thought that was fantastic.
That was pretty cool.
Silly buggers, yes. And also the change, the Jake's transformation. Had you read
I like the
Werewolf by Night?
I've read bits of it. I've not read the whole runs, but I've read bits of it, in and out. Okay. So.
You mean because the latest one was only, I think, 5 issues or something?
No.
Did you?
No, I didn't read the latest one.
Oh, okay. Because I've read a lot of the Jack Russell.
I want to read. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I even entertained the thought of maybe getting it when it came out, but it was, it's like, it's a 5-issue one. I can just easily read it.
That was a lot at the time.
Unlimited. Yeah. I enjoyed this. Again, nothing really much at stake. Art-wise, may have been one of my favourites in this issue, but story-wise, probably not, other than the obvious bias with Moon Knight in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebecca, should we jump into then? Let's go to the very beginning. The Crypt of Shadows by Al Ewing. That's pretty much just the
That's just the
pages in
sort of
between.
story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nicely done. Bless him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I love it. Yeah, it's got that classic, obviously, Crypt of Shadows kind of narrator.
Yeah. Apparently, you can read about more about Victor Strange the Infinity Comedy in the Infinity Comic. So I'll have to do that at some point. I really like how the art behind him changes for each of these joining things. So I like the fact that the last one has Catwolf in.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know I have a thing for Catwolf, and so I like that he appears. But it's just nicely done. I mean, sometimes they don't connect these things very well. This one works very well. The guy in the mirror who will connect these stories. Here's a ghost story. Here's a story about this. But it's throwaway stuff. It is. But it's throwaway. Yeah, I'm glad they got to play with the art a bit, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, because you can't go wrong with it. You just got to have him say something cheesy and corny and kind of maybe say something in reference to the previous story. Similar to you, I liked how the artwork reflected that. I think he does a really good, Ramon Bachs does a really sinister looking, it's almost a sinister looking Stephen Strange.
Yeah. Big hole in his chest. Nice.
Yeah. Really nice stuff. So this was a little bit harder to just kind of, I guess, talk about. He goes through the various... Oh, maybe we can just kind of skip. I mean, because we can mention it just as each story goes. Otherwise, Rebecca, I'm flicking
I think it's just let's just refer to them before each story.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest thing to do.
Yes. So then... we get Neither Big Nor Bad, I'm assuming, is this one.
Yeah.
And this one had Bloodline. So the first time I did a read-through of this, Rebecca, I totally forgot, I forgot what was on the covers, and so I didn't lock into who was meant to be the main, the protagonist. Right. But
I got very, very happy about the fact her friend was called Rebecca. Straight from panel 1. Like her friend's Rebecca. But I thought this was quite sweet. I'd not read any Bloodline before.
Me too.
So it was a nice little introduction.
Wasn't Bloodline? Wasn't there a series and it was shelved? Because I was actually waiting for it.
Yeah, there was. But it's now coming out. I mean, different writers and different whatever, but different team. But yeah.
I was totally
it'd be quite interesting because again, it's building out Marvel Supernatural.
Yes.
So
and this is good in the fact that we got werewolves with Moon Knight. This is more ghosts, like spectral stuff. Also, kind of witches spells, I guess, or spells in general.
Yeah, ghosts we've got in this one. I mean, this is properly a ghost story.
Yep. So, again, the gist of this is that there are two layabouts, I don't know how else you call them. They want to trap a ghost within this place. To do whatever, just to play around with it. But the ghost is waiting for his partner to arrive. Like, she's living life, so he's happy to wait as long as she lives a nice full life. Bloodline comes in and she basically teases it out. She stops these two would-be spellcasters from basically harming the ghost.
Despite it not really being her usual hunting thing. So that's kind of nice. She's a little bit learning on the go. And
I thought that was good because, we've already got Morbius in one of the stories. So, I guess you have a little bit of everything rather than just another vampire story that you could easily put Bloodline in. But this was this was strange. I love the colours to this.
Really nice, especially on the ghost.
Yes, it reminded me. Did you get the same vibe? It reminded me of Christian Ward, a
little bit, but not quite as. What was I going to say? a little bit more realistic than
Yeah.
Christian Ward.
Yeah, more so. I think just if you look at Bloodline, the use of you wouldn't call it neon colors, but like these really kind
Slightly
of
neon highlights almost.
yeah, the pinks and the purples. I just remember that. And you're right, the ghost looks really good as well. But yeah, a little bit of an emotional beat there, Rebecca. There's a little moment there from
really
Bloodline.
Sweet.
Yeah, and at the end, she doesn't want to keep Rebecca waiting. I mean, it could easily be you, Rebecca. We don't see Rebecca just through the phone.
No one should want to keep me waiting, is all I'm saying. Yeah, no, but that was nice. And so I'm kind of, I might dip in and check out Bloodline when it comes out.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to try. I had you, I know you.
I really like Danny Law's writing, so, but yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I know you've got a pile waiting for you still, Rebecca, but had you been collecting Midnight Suns? I think that's another.
No, I haven't.
No, okay.
It was too much for me at the time. I had
me too.
I've got Iron Man and Cap and all the other Caps and Namor and
yeah. No, I tell you, I'm in the same boat.
Lots of Moon Knight.
Yeah, yeah, I'm in the same boat, but I'm really digging this kind of supernatural kind of corner that Marvel's. I know it's a Halloween kind of thing, but as you said, that they are releasing a Bloodline title soon. So,
but I mean, look, we've had plenty of other Halloweens that haven't gone all supernatural. Like there's been Avengers Halloween ones and stuff like that. So this really is a nice one that pulls together all characters that really do exist in that life.
Yeah. Yeah, so keen to see. I mean, keen to see how Bloodline fares. I don't know, with an antagonist. I mean, these two spellcasters weren't much. They were kind of just stumbling into something that they didn't really understand. I'd like to see her in a, I guess, more conventional adventure. But this was quite cool, and I think it was a good opener as well.
I do as well. Yeah. It had Halloween, fancy dress, ghost stories.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a nice balance. So then we should talk very quickly about the joining page before the Moon Knight one. So it actually has ghosts in, which is
how cool is
the
that?
Story we've just had. They're really cool. And that guy, the one in the back with the headless one, has such a great expression on his face. Yeah, so it's really nice. We could have just got a mirror again. Like we didn't have to get all this extra stuff. So I do appreciate that the art steps up in each one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Victor looking, not that he has fangs, but he just looks.
He looks like evil. He has fangs in this one. Yeah.
But I like the ghosts look really good in it.
They look so
especially
they're so cool.
Yeah, I like the one on the left. I think it's a lady. She's got a lantern. That looks really cool.
A skull lantern, it looks like.
Yeah. So again, I won't dive into it, but Victor just talks about
savage beasts.
Sorry?
Yeah, he talks about savage beasts at the end, just before we go into the werewolf fights. Yeah.
Oh yes, it's of course. Yes, absolutely. So then we get to the Werewolf by Moon Knight, which we did. Let's move to the next one, which I think is Skin Crawl.
So before that we get werewolves added. So
and some cracking in the mirror as well, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, but it's the same page but with added werewolves.
Added werewolves. It's slowly layering up.
So now we get the Morbius story.
Yeah, Skin Crawl, and got a shout out as well, Ibrahim Mustafa. Loonies would know his artwork from Marvel Comics Presents, I'm pretty sure, from Benjamin Percy. He did a short story, so he gets to return to a bit of Moon Knight here. A strange tale here, Rebecca. There are some players here that I wasn't familiar with.
Me neither, and I haven't looked up, and I am sure somebody will come in and tell us about them. Not in a bad way, but
no, for sure.
So the whole Darkhold daughter.
Yes, Darkhold daughter and her friend Louise Hastings, I think.
Yeah.
Which was mentioned. There's an editor's note there as well. Midnight Suns, I think it references also as
Midnight Suns. It references, Midnight Suns Unlimited. So that'll be on Marvel Unlimited.
Yes.
And
Easily.
Darkhold Pages in the Book of Sin, which I also didn't read. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Darkhold. I'd love to read the Darkhold stuff as well. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
But this is a strange tale. You got these little parasites, or I don't know,
yeah,
ecto ghouls.
the
And
Troids,
the Troids. That's it. And
transdimensional chthonic vermin.
that's a mouthful.
Someone had great fun writing that.
Yeah. But we see Morbius. Obviously, he's doing good. He's saving someone in an alleyway, but he gets stopped by Victoria Montesi, and she has a gripe with him. Which we just mentioned, Louise Hastings, I think is the name. Yeah. And anyway, he can see these bugs, and it's something to do with that violence. Is that right, Rebecca? The more prone to violence you are, the more they sprout out. But not only that, we get Louise's son or relation. I think
grandson.
Grandson. Grandson. He's a warlock, or he can cast spells.
He can cast spells that are in the Darkhold, but he says he's never read the Darkhold. So there's something weird there, and I would guess that these are characters we might see again.
Yeah, that's a carrot they probably dropped for us.
Yeah, because that's a kind of, this is a bit weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how I knew the spell. Great stuff, Marvel. But then it turns out that, so this is where you get your alien thing, because the queen of these Troids is inside Morbius.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you get all these big pustules ready to pop.
He's starting to pop out. But
until this grandson turns back.
Yes. Let me try to find his. No, it doesn't say his name. Jinx. Sorry, Jinx is.
Yeah, Jinx.
Pretty cool.
Which
name.
is weird, but it also works as a superhero name. So that's good.
Yeah. But he kind of stops this queen from sprouting from Morbius as well. But he admits that he's the one that actually set them on him, I think. So that's... Yeah, just because he wanted him to suffer. And this was a bit quirky. I kind of liked it. I mean, I'm always intrigued by Morbius, Rebecca. I haven't even watched the movie yet. I'm still keen to see it.
I've seen the movie, but I've not read very many comics.
Okay.
Because it's just not something I've ever been that interested in.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
So, but this has made me. I mean, everything has made me a bit more curious to know how he is written in comics, but nothing's made me go like, oh, I really want to read it. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm interested in almost on an academic level. I'm not enough to have actually sat down and read it yet. Yeah,
it's the same kind of intrigue for me as in, say, Blade, just because, for one thing, he's a living vampire. He's like a good vampire. So on the whole superhero-y level, it's fun that he's... But he's kind of different. He's a point of difference. Same like Blade. He's like a daywalker. He's not your typical vampire. But there's that kind of thing.
I think I'm more into Blade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. And there was a one-shot that came out as well, Rebecca. I'm not sure if that's out yet. I'm keen to get it.
I don't know either. Yeah.
So we got plenty of supernatural stuff here, and again, just got to clock in that this story vampire based. So we had ghosts, werewolves, and vampires here. A little bit of aliens, as you said, Rebecca.
Demons. I think they're demons.
Bit of demons.
If we talk about chthonic.
Oh yes,
yeah.
So the Troids I thought were hilarious.
They were hilarious.
They talk. I mean, just basically the last panel, they talk about seeing, like, the reader can see them. Then you're next. It's that typical kind of cheesy Crypt of Shadows.
Cheesy, that one made me laugh because it was like, I'd like to think it was bad and too cheesy, but actually, you know what? It's kind of funny.
It is kind of funny, and I'm intrigued again. I can use that word with Jinx. I think he's pretty cool. He's got a nice...
I'd be interested to see if they could find a good place for him, because I think there is a place for someone like that.
He's got a cool aesthetic. It's very simple. I don't know whether it's a birthmark, but he's got like a domino kind of eye. So that's, it's kind of cool. And again, we go back to the Crypt of Shadows by Al Ewing. It's growing,
now
Rebecca.
We've added bugs. We've added
bugs.
these demonic bugs.
you can hardly see the ghosts anymore. There's a couple of them left.
You can see the woman and the head, the neck of the headless one.
Yes. Oh,
Oh
yeah, you can.
Like skeleton. But you can actually see quite a lot of them. But
you can.
They've done a pretty good job.
They've done well.
You know, not for much longer. I suspect.
The bugs are kind of overwhelming in this one, and I guess rightly so. Just after that story, but they look fantastic. And again, not going to dwell on it, but he's talking about something relevant to what we just read or what's to come. And so second last one here, Rebecca. This was cool.
The one we've been waiting for, right, Elsa? We all want Elsa when it
absolutely.
Comes to
Which again, incidentally, Rebecca, the Funko has released. I don't know if you got the Elsa Funko.
I haven't. I still can't find that Hercules one.
I can't find the Hercules.
No.
I'm gonna have to try and send it over to you.
No, I'll look better and then we'll talk. But yeah, so so here we get Elsa.
It's really cool. I mean, I'm curious, Rebecca, how you think she's written, the way she speaks. Is it kind of really stereotypical British? She says a couple of things. I don't know. They're just kind of.
She doesn't speak a lot. A lot of this is narration.
Yeah, but even her narration. Yeah, I thought I saw her on a. There's a lovely. I thought I saw a blimey. I didn't see a blimey.
There's a bloody hell there.
There's a bloody hell, which is pretty cool. And
this is right. Everyone's being turned into spiders. And
yes. So we got demon.
She's going around inoculating everyone, and the only one left is Spider-Man.
There were 10.
We know has been turned into spider before.
Of course, yeah.
More than once, I think.
Poor Peter Parker. But you're right. She had been working with the pharmaceutical company, and she kind of went against them. 10 people turned, and Spider-Man's the last of them. But so she does meet.
She meets Johnny Storm.
Yeah. Interesting coupling,
Peter's
I think.
Boyfriend.
Yeah, but I guess that's the correlation.
I would kid, but they are obviously very good friends. They are very good friends.
Yeah.
And it is an interesting. I don't know if we've seen him with Elsa ever before, but
no,
because he's like quite often relentlessly optimistic and a bit dippy, and she's like a little bit on the other side and very gung ho.
Yes, I'd say he's a lot dippy.
But it depends on the writer, because he is supposed to be a clever guy as well.
Yep.
You know, like he's just I think since the films and stuff like that, he's sometimes dumbed down a lot, but he is supposed to be an intelligent guy. Just a little bit,
Well, he's meant to be like
he's very distractible.
Yeah, he's he's kind of the
hothead.
The hothead and like the young one of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So he's but they've all kind of grown. So yes, so we see them in the sewers basically, and we get a bit of a recount. Elsa, just working at the pharmaceutical company. There's Spider-Man. He jumps them. A little fight ensues.
Yeah,
it's all pretty quick though. Like
Elsa gets the antidote into him. Peter makes a joke about turning into a spider again.
Yes, poor Peter. All the same, and Elsa ends it with but it's Halloween, isn't it?
In it.
Yeah, that's it. Was it made for a hell of a show?
Made for a hell of a show.
So I love that just about her. Like everything's kind of. Doesn't matter what's at stake. She's still a bit, I guess, just kind of flippant about it all. That's pretty much her.
I didn't pay attention to what happens after the next page turn.
Oh, sorry?
There's no joining page.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that one was missing.
Al took a break for that one.
Al took a break for this one.
Or the artist, actually, because they started drawing a lot.
Or both,
yeah. But I mean, what did you make of this story? I enjoyed this one.
I thought it was fun. I thought I like the art in the middle a bit more than I like the art at the beginning and the end, where it's very stylized.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a fun little story. I did like seeing Johnny turn up because he's literally one of the last people I would expect to see in a Halloween special. And it's our first,
absolutely.
Other than Moon Knight. I mean, you expect to see Moon Knight show up. You don't expect to see one of the Fantastic Four, and of that one, to be Johnny Storm. So so that was nice, but it makes total sense because he's Peter's bestie, you know. But yes,
Yeah, I mean,
so I
and
like
these
this one. Do you
are
like it?
like, you know.
I mean, we all like Elsa, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just thought it was interesting because you had your top tier Marvel like Spider-Man and the Human Torch in it, so you know, a bit more Marvel universe. This one, I mean, they all are, but this is very much so. You know, you got Johnny Storm in his Fantastic Four gear,
yeah.
and Spider-Man. You know, Spider-Man. No, I really enjoyed it for the brevity of it, and yeah, it was. It does the job, like you said. All these stories, they're really kind of throwaway.
I think they've all done quite well at having like at being feeling complete-ish or complete enough. So
yeah. So yeah, that was a good one. And finally, actually, speaking of big names in the universe, the last one, and this has got to win the prize for the best title: Endless Slaughter in the Infinite Swamp. I really enjoyed this. The artwork was very much more indie, I think, for me. But this is what a weird concept here, Rebecca. Basically, Man-Thing and Laura Kinney fighting.
Yeah, he triggers her
forever.
pheromones that make her attack, and then she triggers his response.
His fear thing, like the response. Yeah, so they go back and forth, and they both regenerate.
Perpetual fight. Yeah, and it literally goes into thousands and thousands of years.
Oh my gosh, even more. I thought, you know, it says here along the way, not even days, not even months. I thought, okay, maybe, you know, maybe a good year or two. No, it goes into like a trillion million years.
And then the atoms do this, and then she needs to eat bits of him. And,
that was interesting.
I thought it was a bit like I liked it, but mostly for the art and the vague idea. I thought it I didn't always vibe with every part of it. But I thought it was alright. It was a nice, interesting one. I liked the initial concept.
Yes, me too. I think it was really original, and to pick, you know, the Man-Thing, synonymous with horror, but Laura, you know, that was great. I mean, you'd easily have done it with anyone, I guess, with a healing factor, Deadpool, Wolverine, of course, but
she does have that pheromone trigger.
Oh, the trigger! Of course, yes,
yeah,
that works into
that makes her
it.
feral,
Absolutely.
So that makes.
Yeah, but I mean, hats off. Yeah, hats off to the concept. I think it's just really funny and fun. And
I thought,
as you
I
say,
think
it goes...
calling her the final girl in a horror film was a little, in a slasher film, was a bit like a bit on the head. But then this is the final story in the anthology as well. So that's what I mean about little things where it lost me a bit. I was like, did we really have to do final girl?
Right. I get you.
But I did like the overall concept, and it was, I mean, it's such interesting art to see in a Marvel comic.
Oh yeah, and it goes full on trippy, like the nexus of all realities. The Man-Thing, he kind of, after 5,000 years, it opens up and they start battling on different, I don't know, realities and planes.
Yeah, it's just, it's absolutely even off its head, but in a good way.
Yeah, yeah, and there was that. Was it, as you said, Rebecca? It goes on so long that it actually starts affecting their molecules, and Laura's become a mindless beast as well because she gets killed and reanimated so many times. I just love this idea. I really enjoyed the last one, and the art though was a standout for me. So Adam Warren, well done.
Yeah, really
and then
good.
Finally, Rebecca.
Yeah, we get the Avengers.
You got
no idea why. I get Catwolf, and there's Frank Castle as Frankenstein, and Wonder as a skeleton. Like, I have no idea why those, but I don't care because there's Catwolf. So, like, the rest are kind of irrelevant to me. Once he's there, I don't see anything else. And then we get the little page telling us how we can read more about everyone. So. Yeah, and at the end, I love that. Just the ending for Victor again, similar to the Troids. If we don't see you first, it's very kind of
tropey, that sort of stuff.
Come see us next Halloween.
But as you say, Rebecca, as well, so yeah, yeah, exactly. He just needs to be like a desiccated corpse, and then it's right on the money.
It'd be
But
amazing.
but as you said, Rebecca, Strange Tales from the Marvel Unlimited app, Werewolf, Moon Knight, the annual, Exterminators issue 2, and Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. Yeah, sorry, Exterminators has Laura in there. So yeah, plenty to if this wet your whistle, there's plenty there to follow up on. So I know, Rebecca, as a whole, it is a bit hard because it's an anthology, but yeah, I mean, I guess enjoyment level, art level, what would you kind of give this whole Crypt of Shadows?
Score-wise, or just general?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I scored it 7 out of 10.
Yeah, score-wise, and...
I scored it solid round point. Because...
Yes.
Anthologies can often be very lame. I don't think I've ever read a 10 out of 10 anthology. Or even a 9 out of 10 anthology. So you're talking about you're lowering the top mark in a way, because anthologies are always going to be a mixed bag. There's always going to be stories you enjoy more than others, or characters you like more than others. But I thought this one, they were all relatively consistent. There were ones, up and down with some of them, but like I said, I think each of them did actually tell a story. There were no kind of absolute filler. And most of the art I liked, and it was an interesting. This is definitely my favorite Halloween one that they've done in terms of mix of characters as well. So I think they did a really good job, and it didn't feel like they were just trying to sell me on the new books that are coming out, like the one we get Timeless every year. And I absolutely love Jed's writing, and he did so much more with Timeless last year than I thought could be done with that kind of thing. But like sometimes we get those anthologies where here's a page of all the Marvel comics that are coming out next year. So they managed to fit in, I think, Bloodline and stuff like that, but without making it feel now you have to like it, because then you're on to the next story.
Yeah. Which always kind of takes you away from it when it's blatant.
Yeah, when it's really blatant.
Yeah. Okay, yes, a 7 out of 10. Look, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Similar. Same. 7.5. Oh, similar. 7.5 out of 10. Similar views as well. Anthologies are hard to rate, but I enjoyed this. I mean, again, I mean this in the the best way. They're kind of like, it's a throwaway issue. It's fun to read, to get in the mood of Halloween. Just to really, actually, it's probably more for the art, really, because just to really love the art, because let's face it, the stories don't go anywhere too much.
Elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's made me interested in Bloodline, so yeah, I mean that's got to be a good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I think that about wraps us, Rebecca, for this. Any other final thoughts for Crypt of Shadows? Or
no, I was genuinely quite surprised that I enjoyed it so much. Obviously, I wish there'd been Moon Knight, but that's coming at that from a Moon Knight podcast.
Yes.
I liked the role he played, and it was nicely done. One day they will stop baiting us with cover art.
Yes, I know. Oh, yes, maybe one day. Anyway, loonies, that pretty much wraps us for this episode. Thank you so much for joining. It was fun just to go through this little anthology, have a little bit of Moon Knight here. Episode 312, next episode, next phase. Just keep your eyes out, see what's on the cards. I don't know what the phase of the moon is, but generally I try to work it towards whatever we want to do. So see how we go from there. As always, Patreon members, a huge thank you. I'll just chuck this up on, if that goes on. No. Yes, a big thank you to all our Patreon members: Odin, Daniel, Drew, Frank, Justin, Derek, Wayne, Josh, Anthony, Russell, Michael, Mario, Matthew, Jonathan, and Dan. Dan, the newest of our patroonies. Thank you so much as well.
Thank
you. You too can become a Patreon member. Yes, check out patreon.com/ITKMoonNight. Big thanks to our principal sponsors as well. Odin Sword, Catch Him on Drinking Marvel podcast. Frank Dukes, I Want to Fight It podcast, and Fringe Night by Daniel Doing, an original indie comic based on Erie, Pennsylvania's very own mysterious superhero. You can check his stuff out at patreon.com/FringeNight27. And of course, Drew Toombs. Check out his fantastic music on soundcloud.com/Toombs with a Z, or Lurk Music with a CK.bandcamp.com. Finally, as well, CLZ Comics at collectors.com, and Dreamland Comics. Use the code MOON and get 20% off their online store. You can catch us also on, if this thing works, you can catch us on email, feedback at itkmoonnight.com, website itkmoonnight.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, also Patreon as well. All that sort of
Are you gonna
jazz.
do all the new social medias? Like Hive and Mastodon?
Yes, we'll get. Yes. Are you? I saw you're on. Is it Hive or Mastodon? I can't remember.
I made
all of
accounts
them.
on all of them. But, I barely have time to remember to look at them, but I did make accounts.
Yeah. I did the download thingy for Twitter, so hopefully, can save all that when I jump ship.
Yeah.
But
when and if, well, hopefully.
Yes, loonies. Oops, sorry, what was that, Rebecca?
I said when and if on Twitter. Hopefully it'll stay, and we'll see.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It might stay. Yeah, I mean, it's got the stuff on there already. Sometimes it's too much trouble to move, but at other times, I've got Hives going, and Mastodon, yeah. Rebecca, any... just want to shout out any shows, Sons of the Dragon, DCAU.
Yeah, Sons of the Dragon, Immortal Iron Fist, and DCAU I've done since I've got back. So one of them is Death of Superman.
Excellent.
That's the DCAU one, and Immortal Iron Fist. Me and Connor have been talking about Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, which is cool because I'd not read it before. So.
Lovely.
What about you? Have you
we'll
done
go
anything?
Check that out. I'll put that. Yes, of course. Last Sons of Krypton, the Superman podcast. We did our episode 100, and that was the final episode that was doing. Oh, thank you. So it's in great hands with Connor there. I've enjoyed my time there, learning a bit more about Superman. But yeah, time, scheduling and all that. It's a bit difficult to try and juggle that. Also, the 4th episode of Predator and Prey, that's out. So I'm there with Russell. We talk about the Ed Brisson comic, issue 4 of that, and a few more chapters of Eyes of the Demon, a great anthology about Predator. And also, finally, Ultimate Spider Cast, Ben Reilly as well. I almost didn't make it. Poor Finney was coughing and disruptive, but he got to sleep, and then I jumped on. So very impromptu. I had an avatar profile, Rebecca, of the Hercules Funko. So I was it was off the phone. I recorded off the phone. I was just in bed there with Finn. Oh, not with Finn, sorry. I went to the other. Yes, well, anyway, loonies, that's it's from all of us here as well. Catch us next time. And as always, may Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. We'll catch you later.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.
Are you looking to start a podcast? Yes! Then see this episode's show notes for our unique promo code to get up to 2 months of free podcasting service with Libsyn when you sign up for a new account. Get your show on Apple and Spotify. Get helpful audience building stats and all the support you need to sound your best. They can even do video. Bring your podcast to life and have your voice heard here, there, and everywhere with Libsyn. Again, see our show notes for our unique Libsyn promo code and get podcasting.